Stanley Suyan. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining for today's resume review session. Stanley works as a technical recruiter at Cisco Meraki. Previously, he worked at Meta, and Stanley have over 10 years plus experience in technical recruiting, in startups, and in big tech. And most importantly, yes, you will have a chance to get a feedback. Usually, when you apply, you don't get if you got rejected, right, it's usually silently or just with a generic standard rejection letter email that you're not fit, right? But why you're not fit, you don't. Is it a resume or is it because of the job description or is it because of million of factors can be out there? So today we'll try to dig in and try to find out if we can find the pattern for good resumes and those resumes who might be need more work on. Thank you, Stanley. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course. No, thanks for having me. It's always fun doing these. And thank you for that intro, actually. I don't have too much more to say about myself other than that. But yeah, just a quick, like Evgeny said, I have more than 10 years of recruiting experience. I started as an agency recruiter, which I think a lot of us start at. But I worked my way in-house first as a sourcer, which means I go and review a lot of resumes or I do a lot of outreach on LinkedIn, looking at LinkedIn profiles to message people and see if they're interested. And then became a recruiter, which is more full cycle, which includes looking at resumes, but then also doing a lot of interviewing and closing once we have the offer, right? Delivering the offer. But like Evgeny said, I climbed my way up to larger and larger companies. I just wanted to see the full gamut of company sizes, see how they operate, what kind of people I can meet at any one of my jobs, and just build a network like that. But really excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, yeah. And also want to say a couple more things. Stanley also helping to Skill Jump, and he's partnering with Skill Jump. Skill Jump is a recruiting agency for helping companies to find engineers. I am former software engineer in test, and I help companies to find developers, QA, machine learning engineers, and mostly I work closely with hiring managers, and I'm getting the feedback from hiring managers. And so today is a unique situation when you can get the feedback based on what hiring managers asking us and what recruiters are looking for. I know Stanley also. So let's have a couple, like maybe a couple points before we start reviewing those resumes that are in the queue. Basically, what are the major mistakes, or you would see the resumes that most likely will be rejected, right? Can you give this pattern maybe?
Yeah, it's hard to say because there's not one specific pattern or reason. Sometimes it's one reason, sometimes it's many reasons. What I can say is that recruiters oftentimes only take about 6 to 10 seconds to give a first look at a resume. And in those 6 to 10 seconds, it has to catch our attention. We have to see some sort of relevance. And then once we see that, we'll dive deeper into it, where we'll spend more time, look at it thoroughly, look at what your responsibilities are. But in those 6 to 10 seconds, it's crucial for us to be able to quickly analyze your entire resume and get a feel for who you are and what kind of work you do. So the first major thing I want to point out is that formatting is huge, right? There's no right or wrong way to do it per se, but there is a better and a worse way to do it.
Yeah, actually, a couple times I got specific rejections because of the formatting of the resume. And a lot of times when I hear the feedback from hiring managers that, oh, you know what, he might be a even great engineer or a great professional, right? But resumes represents his thought process, like how he thoroughly put his basically his experience on the paper and can he represent. And a lot of that, not a lot of, but several times I saw, yeah, this resume is not even going further.
Exactly. I've gotten feedback before from a manager about someone's resume looking like a keyword. What was the term they used? A keyword machine gun, where,
Never heard about it. What is it?
where the resume is just many, many pages long and it's just a bunch of keywords,
Ah,
not
yeah,
really describing what you're.
yeah.
I've
Keyword
heard that
machine
from
gun.
managers before. So that is the first thing I would advise, right? Is really, okay, am I as a recruiter or a hiring manager able to take a look at this resume, get an understanding of this person, and at first glance, do they look like a fit? Should I invest more time into this resume?
Yeah, yeah. I think let's just jump in. Let's just take a look on these resumes. And guys, who just joined, we'll go, if you go to Resume Reviews channel, we'll just go from the first top resume that posted in since July 14th. We'll make it easy. If that person, we'll just call out the name. If you're here, just let us know that this is your resume. If you have questions, you can raise your hand. We can go from there. All right, give me 1 second. All right, Rahul Mancharamani, I think that's your resume. If you're here, just let us know in the chat. You can message directly to. Oh, you're here. All right, great. Let me move you. Let me move you to. So we allow you to talk. If you have any questions, let us know. I'll pull up your resume meanwhile. Give me a second. All right. I'll share. Here we go. You guys able to see the resume?
Yep, I
Yeah.
can see it.
Okay. All right. Obviously, this resume was blanked out with the personal information, which I asked, but let's quickly skim computer science education, software engineer, intern. Okay. Yeah. Assuming based on your experience, Rahul, you're most likely looking for software engineering position, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I would say just based on the formatting, I really like this formatting. I think we got lucky that we got the first resumes with a good formatting. It's pretty clear what I'm doing. And this is the key. As Stanley just mentioned, you look at this, you have 6 seconds. Okay, this person is software engineer, intern, and it states there somewhere in the beginning of his career. If the position would be for internship or mid-level or mid-level engineer or junior engineer, that would be an easy pick to move forward.
Yep, I would agree with that. It's really easy to tell in this resume what you've done recently. So just if I were to look at it, okay, it looks like you got your bachelor's and master's. It looks like you pretty much went to your master's right after getting your bachelor's. I see different internships you've had at different companies. So Nokia, Motorola. I can see the dates clearly, so I know how long you were at those internships or co-ops. And I have a good idea of what you worked on just by glancing. I'm able to see the title. I'm able to see some of the keywords here, right? If I were to nitpick, I would put the technical skills right above experience under your education. But that's just really nitpicking. At the end of the day, it won't matter too much. Now, when I dive deeper into your experience, I really like seeing some numbers, especially at Nokia, right? Your most recent experience. I see it at Motorola as well, but being able to see those numbers automatically attracts my attention. Okay, what do those numbers mean in this? And I could see that you have 90% plus accuracy, saved 160 plus engineering hours, right? So I'm curious, it makes me want to read more. And in a resume with the hiring manager, that's especially what they like to see. Like, okay, if I hire this person, how can they help me? How can they help the team? Right? What have they achieved at their past roles that make me think that they'd be good for this position?
Yeah, Rahul, maybe you wanna share your what's your challenges right now and have feeling of have.
Yeah,
And
I have like two quick questions. One is like I am particularly targeting new grad software engineering roles, and right now software engineering is like very broad. So I'm particularly targeting AI, cloud, and backend engineering roles. But in that also, all of the new grad roles sometimes require 0 to 2 or maybe 0 to 3 years of experience. And if you see all of my experiences combined are close to 22 months. I'm not sure if that really counts in that 0 to 2 or 0 to 3 year bracket, if they count that internship experience in that bracket, especially in the US market.
Yeah, I could quickly answer that.
yep.
In general, we don't count internships as like years of experience. Usually we count that after you pass your education and graduated. So in your case, after your master's, that's when we would start counting. If you have some experience between your bachelor's and master's, we would count that.
Okay.
And
Uh,
it's different for all companies, to be honest. Just depends who you talk to, what the company's stance is, right? Sometimes they count master's degree as 2 years. If you have PhD, sometimes they count that as 4 years of experience. Some companies do that and some don't.
yeah, the reason I asked and the answers from you make sense because from some companies I did get an interview for those positions, but from others they were like, there is a mismatch of experience, so they just rejected me right away. My second quick question is, do you guys see in new grad a leadership or like a awards and achievement section? Because I've won a couple of hackathons. I just don't have enough space to put out here.
So you're asking if you want if we look at achievement like winning hackathons or
Yeah,
those type of achievements like company
right.
recognition for something, I think it helps. Let's say I think it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't necessarily help.
Got it.
Also want to add a couple things. First of all, in terms of that you are targeting for backend cloud engineering position, and I think that's the route you should still keep on. What I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
is you pick you choose the profession, not the profession, you choose the specific niche, and this is where you want to target, right? So you're not spread out like, oh, I want to just be a software engineer, front and back end, test automation, doesn't really matter. No, it does matter. So this is, but at the same time, like if you have other interests, like maybe you want to do full stack or front end, you probably, this is what I would do. I would create a separate resume specifically for that direction that you want to go, right? So that's number
Mm,
one. And number two, 0 to 3 experience, you and Stanley mentioned that it's gray area, to be honest, right? So in engineering, which is good, a number of experience, it's just number. A
right.
you can actually, so I think in your case, again, like your resume shows that you are looking in cloud automation. So it's really like more use cases that you can show, more the projects that you can show. That will speak up, right? Like you post the GitHub link. Obviously, it's not here, but if the hiring manager will look at it, and even recruiters also look at GitHub link, and they see that you are constantly contributing or just pushing, then it says a lot. So don't be discouraged. Right now, we all understand that job market itself it's very tough, and not only for graduates but also for software engineers, right? So it's tough for everyone. Just you need to keep going. But overall, like in terms of the resume, I think you're doing a good job, guys. If other folks will just copy your plate, that will be very, very helpful for others too.
Yeah, just to mention for other folks, this is indeed the Jake's Ryan resume.
Jake's right.
Yeah. But thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rahul. Right. We have Naman next. Hey, Naman.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi. So I recently graduated with a master's in computer science,
Mhm.
and I have experience in software engineering and data science. In my college, for 2 years, I worked as a research assistant where I used data science and data analysis to understand user behavior on social media posts. Very recently, I developed an MCP server to create an AI-driven diabetes monitoring system, which generates insights and analyzes glucose pattern. And I've been using CGM data for that. I've been using the MCP from Claude. And I'm also a new grad, Rahul. I directly finished my bachelor's and came for master's. And I'm searching for software engineering, data science, and data analyst positions.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, thanks for that summary, Naman.
Thank you.
Have you done any internships?
I've done one internship. I have two internships. First one is, as you can see, it's a software intern. It was only for a month. And then I did do another internship as a machine learning intern, but I chose to put my US experience, my research experience over that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I missed this.
So yeah, I'm also having the same issue. Like I've been applying to a lot of positions since the past 2, 3 months, and I barely get any calls. The two calls that I got were one from my own college and another one from a local company where I graduated from. And they were all for data science positions. And very recently, I changed this resume and added another project, the first project you can see. So that just
Yeah.
to add some software. Yeah.
What positions you are targeting for? Data science?
So I'm targeting for software engineering and data science and data analyst. So since my experience is fully data, that's why I'm targeting for data science and data analyst, but I also want to target for software engineering. I know I don't have any experience in software engineering apart from the one internship, but my projects are related to software engineering now.
Stanley.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that for the most part. Just looking at your background here, I'm able to easily tell what you've done. I think your resume actually is like really good in general compared to other people who have had some work experience, who have had some internships or full-time experience after they graduated. It's going to be hard for you to really stand out. So one way to do that is just like Evgeny said, have a couple of different copies of your resume, depending on what job you're applying for. You could tailor that resume to that specific job or to those specific job types. I think in your case, it's going to take more than a resume just because it's so competitive out there that there's a lot of people flooding the market looking for jobs, and companies right now can be quite selective. And this isn't just a tip for you, but it's really for anyone who's in here right now struggling to find a job. A resume is definitely a key part of it, right? Like we want to be able to easily read what you've done and what you've accomplished and match that to the job description and the job requirements for the role. That's definitely true. But in a lot of cases, we get overwhelmed by so many resumes that are all potentially a fit that it's going to take one step above that, right? Besides just resume. So Evgeny and I talk about this all the time where you have to put yourself out there and start building connections and start networking with people. Whether it's personal connection or a professional one, you have to leverage everyone that you know.
So I thank you so much for the feedback. I'm noting everything down. So one thing that comes to my mind is that how would I make a different software and data science resume? Like my professional experience is data science. Like I cannot change my professional experience, right? So how do I differentiate my resume to make it software oriented and make it data oriented?
But when I look at your technical skills at the bottom, it reads to me back-end engineer for the most part. I'm sure you worked on more than these projects in school, but or on your own time. But that's potentially a way to do it as well, right? Just you have to up level your skills, continue working on projects in either this field or that field, and you could take away some of these projects if it doesn't match what you're looking for or the type of role you're going for.
Okay, so I would change my software projects with related to. I'll put more software projects for software engineering roles, and then maybe put data science projects for data oriented roles. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that could work. That could be one way.
Okay. And do you recommend One thing that came to my mind was because I don't have experience in software engineering, a 1 month experience in software engineering. Should I shift my software projects? Should I swap professional experience in software projects so that if someone reads my resume, software projects comes first for the software variant?
I think it's fine the way you have it. I do think that work experience has value to it, as long as you think it as well, right?
Yeah, that's the only experience I can show, honestly.
Just from someone that looks at resumes a lot, there's a point where we look at a resume and it doesn't matter which comes first, right? We're going to look at the whole thing and we're going to glance at it before diving deeper.
Okay. What would be your final advice? Like, how can I increase my chances for this? To make two resumes?
Make different copies of your resume, target specific roles. You could take a look at job descriptions, see what people are looking for, what kind of tools, what kind of keywords you're looking for, and tailor your resume and your experience using those keywords and responsibilities. That would be a good first step. Then, as I mentioned earlier, I think networking is really the next step, right? It's people in college, your professors, right? You have to start bridging out and branching out to start conversations with different people, whether it's people you know already or people that are completely strangers, right? I appreciate everyone coming in to today's session because it definitely shows that you want to get better or you want to learn, right? And enable yourself a bit more. There's going to be different events hosted by us or other people where you have that opportunity to continue meeting folks, right? And so I would use every opportunity as someone who's a new grad or early on in their career to continue networking and talking to other people, making connections.
Thank you so much, Stanley and Kim, for the advice. This was
Yep.
really helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Noah. Yep. Thank you. I would suggest to speed up the process. So, for example, the next resume that we're looking, and I see persons here, Anthony is here, but it's pretty much very similar to Naman's. Actually, let me pull it up. So, from the objective, I can say that you most likely assume looking for software engineer position. But again, like your experience is like you've been here as a software engineer with the slash orbital science operation specialist. Not really sure what it is. But before you've been as a data analyst, you've done research, you've been the research assistant, and yeah, pretty much all what we mentioned. Similar feedback to Rene and Naman would apply, would be the same thing to you. Formatting is fine. Formatting, but yeah, I think we can. It does make sense. Let's go with John.
I think if you're here, I think I saw a message earlier where you're looking for a front end position, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I am looking for a front end position, but nowadays a lot of these software engineering roles are they're looking for a full stack position or full stack engineer. At my role at my last enterprise role at CVS, I was full stack and I like touched the back end a little bit, so that's why I have it the way it is. But I'm open to recommendations.
I think it's a wise choice to be a full stack developer as opposed to a front end. Just my experience hiring engineers at any company I've been at, the ratio, I don't know, maybe 20 full stack engineers to one front end engineer. So that just increases your chances if you know the back end as well.
Yeah. I do. So, admittedly, I was primarily front end. I worked at two different teams at CVS, and I was primarily front end. So I had a ticket here and there where I did some back end work. So my goal now is while I'm searching for my next position, I'm beefing up my back end knowledge, just taking courses and learning more.
Yeah, for sure. So looking at your resume, you only have 5 years of experience, but your resume is 2 pages long, which is the same as mine. I have about 15 years of experience. You could definitely shorten it. The summary is pretty long. I'm really only going to glance at it. You could have it maybe 3 lines or so. Just put out the most important information you want people to know about you.
Okay. Would you say that maybe for my amount of experience, it should probably just be about a page?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And you need really to work on your summary. It's so vague. It's like reading the second line. It's like, dude, tell me what is the point? So it's a lot of generic words like user obsessed, highly collaborative, who excels at facilitate. It's boring. It's
Yeah. Okay. Thank
like
you for your honesty.
just it, it- you don't talk
So,
to your friends or like that, right? You don't. It's like, try me. What you want to say here?
okay.
What is your greatest either it's achievement or where is your like why you are great software engineer, right? Not because of you are user obsessed, highly collaborative. It's something like you can say to anyone. To this is very generic, right? But saying I've been so instead of saying show here what you've done, what kind of applications, and 2 lines here to the point. It's like why you're a great software engineer in front end, back end. Years of experience
Okay.
would be helpful too. Like that would be like a proven record, right? All this the user obsessed, highly collaborative, these things you can just remove it. High quality.
So I definitely agree that I need to work on that. So what I was trying to achieve, I kind of have a bit of an orthodox background. So I don't have the bachelor's or the master's degree. I actually come from a background in sales and customer service. And then during COVID, I went to a boot camp, switched careers. I taught myself to code and then went to boot camp. But I started off building websites on WordPress. That's how I got into software development and realized I wanted to do this. Kind of wanted my role at CVS and what the role I've often had, the unofficial role I've often had in teams is that I'm usually the person that's very outgoing, like the person that likes to bring people together. If someone's new, I like to make myself available to provide information, someone they can go to ask questions, just to generate conversation during Scrum calls, to very always giving feedback during feature reviews, during Scrum calls. So I'm just very outgoing and I love to collaborate. And so I just wanted to find a way to get that through because I don't have like that advanced kind of degree. You wanted to show like my unique strengths. But I could have done that better. Anyway, that was the
Yeah, a
thinking.
lot of that you won't really be able to show on your resume. You could try and you could allude to it essentially, but a lot of that will come out in the interviews. And that's where if you really want to tell that story or show that you're a great communicator and different than a lot of engineers because of that, that's where you have to do. You could allude to it for sure, but honestly, I think that's where your summary will be most useful. Like I said before, if you don't have a summary, that's fine. If you do have one, make it say something. And it sounds like you have an interesting story. So you could say something as simple previously in sales, but made a transition into tech out of curiosity. And now I found my passion. And then you could list some skills or some work that you did, just 2, 3 sentences on it. And that way you could allude to, okay, hey, this person might have had a really good communication background because they were doing sales, right? So they might have really good communication skills, and now they found their passion in engineering. So that's what I mean by you could allude to it, but you can't really say all that on your resume.
Okay,
And
understood. Thank you.
yeah, and for engineers, it's actually not the greatest strength point, right? It's definitely the strength that everyone desire to have this type of software engineer who is very easy going, who not gonna be annoyed by several pull requests, who will be very collaborative. It's like a dream software engineer for all hiring managers. But the biggest strength for like most of them would be like your ability to accomplish software building software engineering and not just by being ongoing. And I know I have also a background in sales, so I understand what you're talking about, but you're applying for software engineering job, so for you it's show what you've built show what you accomplished. That's the only thing that really matters. The rest is like very nice to have. It's great. You can prove it during the interview, but getting the foot in the door, you need to be specific.
And that communication skill will definitely serve you in your role for sure. And it'll definitely help you become a better leader. Hone those skills. And once you are able to get the technical piece down, I promise you're going to be like the first thought for a promotion to be a manager.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
I hope that
Appreciate it.
was helpful. All right. Thank you, Johnny. Let's go next. Abhishek. Think. Abhishek.
Yes. Hi. Thank you for giving this opportunity. I am Abhishek. I'm a data engineer, currently working at a hospital in a clinical research lab. I am managing their data infrastructure, creating data pipelines, and creating automation solution for the team. I'm looking to or for a switch to more product-based company or somewhere I could work along with more engineers. Currently, I work with mostly researchers. So that's my motivation to apply and get a different role.
I love it. It's very to the point. I mean, your resume, even like without any name, company names, or I can tell that you've been doing this for quite a long, and this is what you're enjoying. I don't know if you're enjoying or not, but this is something that if I would be looking for data engineer, that resume will be on the pile to either contact or pile to read. Pretty simple. Even it doesn't have a summary, skills somewhere in the bottom, which is again, it's not a big deal. I would again, I would suggest you to add summary. Even I have opinion
Okay.
differently here, but higher managers they will read it.
Okay.
They like to read like before going deeper, before go. It's like your highlight,
Yeah.
your main thing, like why you are a great data engineer.
Okay. Okay. I can add a summary there. Thank you.
I like the use of bold and the keywords that you have.
Yeah.
So it seems to fit seamlessly into your sentences. There's not so many that it just seems like you're just throwing everything there. But it seems like it's just enough to catch my attention. And like you deem these are the most important tools and skills that you have, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I think this is pretty good.
Do you
Yeah.
have any
Okay.
responses? What's your challenge?
Same as everyone, not getting any calls.
No getting any calls or no getting
Yeah.
any responses.
Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, I just can repeat. For example, like when we post the job opening for our clients, we got in the first day like 300 resumes, right?
Yeah.
So it's cold
It's,
applying, obviously, like it's very rare. It's very big competition.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll post in the general channel the guideline for resumes. For that is also a guideline for any resumes. So you just apply them, like avoid these simple mistakes with the formatting and with the wording and give to each other. So you can give to each other the feedback just based on the resumes or based on the those guides. We'll try to give you also the feedback for those who we wouldn't able to finish it. Hope that was helpful. We also gonna do and we are doing the mock interviews with our recruiters and with hiring managers. The next one will be in 3 or 4 weeks. I'll post it in the meetup. I'll post it in this Slack channel. Follow the Slack channel, and I also will notify you through the email. Yeah, if anything, let us know. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, ask questions on this our Slack channel. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And thank you, Stanley. That was very effective session.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope everyone here got something out of it. even if we didn't get to your resume, I'm sure a lot of the problems are very similar, right? Struggling to find a job. Is my resume good enough? But honestly, just looking at these resumes, some of the same feedback that we have for those people we went through today will apply to yours as well, right? Yeah, I've dropped my LinkedIn link in the chat, so feel free to add me, guys. And if you have any questions, just reach out to myself or Yevgeny.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you.